Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Lake Tahoe, Joey No Chill Prano.
That's right. Hello, Andy. South Lake Tahoe in the house.
So I always forget, what state? Is that Nevada or California?
I am currently in Nevada. I am 0.7 miles from the California border. So there you go.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Very close to where I'll be getting married in July, Andy. We still anxiously await your RSVP reply, one way or the other. I'm gonna take it you're not coming at this point.
No. There's nothing. You know, we just had a kid, so it's just like.
You're just like we don't know anybody anything right now.
Well, it's just you're just trying to figure things. Like we're still in the assessment stages of this new kid.
I basically you'll love this. I got to play parent yesterday a little bit. Me hanging out with kids by myself is straight out of Big Daddy. So yesterday, me and Tony Calabrese take his kids skiing and dumped powder yesterday, the night before. That's why I escaped LA early. We adjusted this show so I could escape LA early. We go up. He's like, dude, my kids are really good skiers. They're like, they bomb. They're not afraid of anything. They're crazy, right? Take the lift up. I mean, dumped powder day. He's like, just double black right here, right into the lift. You want to take this? And I'm in my head, I'm going like, first run of the day? Seems aggressive. But I was like, all right, if these kids can charge, like, I'm not going to be the one that says no. 3 feet into the thing, the one kid loses his skis. He's 8 or 7 or whatever, loses his skis, can't, whatever, too much powder. He's too small. He's too light to get through the powder. Can't get back in his skis. He's crying, blah, 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 blah. So I'm with his daughter like 200 yards ahead, waiting for them to like get it together. And he's just like, you guys go and we'll meet you at the bottom. And I was like, dude, he made it 3 feet on double black diamond. He's got 5,000 more feet to go. It's going to take you guys 2 hours to get down this run. So I take his daughter and like she falls and she counted, which is a classic kid thing to do. She's like, I fell 17 times that run. I was like, yeah, I know. She falls 17 times. I take her all the way down, but we get down to the bottom in like 45 minutes. I'm like, we should go get some food, right? She's like, yeah, let's go get some hot cocoa and some like some pot stickers while we wait for them to come down. So we're waiting. We're like hanging out, me and this 9-year-old girl who's not my kid. And I was like, so what's the deal with like you and like being alone and whatever? She's like, what are you asking me right now? I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Can I just like leave you here? Or do you have to like go to the bathroom with me? Or like, how does this work? She's like, yeah, you can leave me alone. And I was like, still don't trust this. So I get up and I walk over to the fucking lady at the cafeteria and I was like, hey. And she's like, what's up? I go, that's not my kid. And she's like, super weird way to start. And I was like, okay. She's like, what do you want? I was like, I just gotta go take a piss. I'm back in 90 seconds. Just like, keep your eye on that kid and don't let anybody leave with that kid who's not me. And the lady's like, you, who just told me, are not her parent. She's like, do you want me to make sure that somebody doesn't kidnap the kid you kidnapped? And I was like, no, it's like my niece or whatever. But
this is an episode of Curb.
I know. And the lady's like, all right, man, just go to the bathroom. Like, this is already longer than it should be. She's just like, leave the kid. I'll keep my eye on her. And I'd like run to the bathroom and run back. She's like, I'm 9. I'm fine. Like, I don't need you to watch me. I'm like, last thing I need is you to get, abducted in the 15 seconds I'm watching you.
So the debate the ongoing debate that I've had forever is it actually plays into this. Are there more and I'm sure I've probably said on the show, are there more of those abductions, creepers, whatever it is now than when we grew up, or just we have the internet and now we're exposed to more of that? So like that's the debate I always have of like,
I feel like there's less creepers than that because of like cell phone cameras and like air tags and like whatever. But at the same time, we hear more about it because
so we hear more about it, but also people can go on the dark web or whatever and create whatever it is, pedophile rings, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So like they can share stuff. So that's why I always ask that. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? I'm like, well,
Yeah.
are there more creepers now than the 80s?
Yeah. Or do we just know about them because of the internet and they have more access to like do their shit than the internet with the internet?
Exactly.
It's so funny. Yesterday we got off when we got down to the base lodge. I like pulled up my bindings, have like a little like foam thing on that you stand on, and I pulled it up and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "This is my new move so that I don't get my snowboard stolen." I was like, "I take my air tag that I keep in my wallet and I stuff it in here when I go to like eat." And she's like, "That's really smart." And then as I'm going to the bathroom, I was like, "Before I go, should I grab that air tag and just like put it in her pocket?" She's like, "You don't have to air tag me for 90 seconds. I was like, "I don't know. Feels like a better safe than sorry." Feels like every parent should just air tag their kids.
Yeah, I mean that's right. That's like the worst fear.
I feel like I'm gonna just sew little pouches into my kids' underwear and just like make sure there's an air tag in them at all times.
I mean, it's like there was a kid when I was on vacation a few years ago with my brother's family when we were in Hilton Head. There was a lost kid, like a 4-year-old. Dude, I mean, like I got anxiety. This kid was lost. And I'm like, how does this happen? And we were in an area that does like they have like a little, I don't even know what you call them, not like a streetcar, but like those sort of things that go around the island. And it's kind of like a bus, but it looks like a streetcar.
Yeah.
And it was at a stop, and we were about to hop back on and head back to our condo, and like we're like searching for this kid's parents. And we're like, and I'm thinking in my head, how does this even happen? And finally, the mom came up crying, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad you got reunited with your kid, but again, this wasn't in a crowd or anything. I'm like, how did you get lost? Is the question.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like it's crazy to be like, I guess I'm rooting for Lost. I guess I'm rooting for this kid just like wandering and not being in the back of some dude's rape van with like 8 other kids getting taken to like a puppy pound where they're all going to be kept in cages.
Yeah, well, there's a different instinct. I've already noticed, like once you become a parent, it's like at a very primal level, your one job, it really is. Your one job is just to keep your children alive.
Yeah.
At all cost, above your own life. Like that's your one job as a parent. If you're a good parent, like some parents, you can question that, but I get it, man. You got to be protective. But that's funny.
Yeah. And then an hour and a half later, when him and his son got down, I was like, "Hey, man, you know how like the number one rule is keep your kids safe? Maybe not like double black powder day to start the day. It's like, can we rock a couple blues? Just get our sea legs." He came down. He was like, he quit skiing 5 times on the way down. And apparently his kid kept saying, "I just want to swear," which I think is hilarious.
That's funny.
I would have been like, "All right, drop a couple F-bombs, get him out. Let's get him out."
Yeah, I was already saying, "Oh my God," because you heard me say it. I'm like,
"That's
don't say
great.
That. Don't say that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God." She go, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Oh, you're already." So we already gotta watch what we say. I was like, "You're already repeating." Well, look, I'm glad she wasn't abducted.
Before you know it, she's gonna be just parroting Lamar Jackson slander, and
oh yeah, hopefully. First of all, Lamar Jackson slander. No, like you know my stance.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
No, I know you are, but like, it's funny to me that people don't like they don't. A lot of times people hear what they want to hear or see what they want to see, and especially with these quarterback discussions, and it's like guys, I think a lot of these guys are great.
Somebody
But
messaged me the other day and was like, "Since you hate Lamar Jackson, you must have Jalen Hurts over him now after the Super Bowl." And I was like, I can't even imagine listening to my show and coming up with that take.
yeah, that's the thing, especially like, there's been so much discussion lately about Brady and Mahomes, and like me personally, I've never said Mahomes is the GOAT already, like, but I also one game and just like Mitchell Schwartz did like some great tweets about it, former Chiefs O lineman, and he's like, dude, the dissecting of Mahomes is insane for a
Did
game.
you see? I don't know if this was on your rundown. The rundown, which I looked at for the first time in forever, was loaded today. So I know we got to start moving down this rundown. But did you see that on that one play where early in the game? I mean, 5 minutes into the game, I think 10 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Crazy scramble that they think he got concussed.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I've seen it.
It's like, well, I'm not making excuses for him because that's still a part of the game.
Sure,
but that would explain a lot.
Well, it's just it would explain some things for sure. And look, they just got their ass kicked again from.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a couple of years ago when the Eagles beat the Niners to go to the Super Bowl, everybody's like, well, if Brock Purdy stays healthy. I go, yeah, but he didn't, because they didn't protect him and they knocked him out in the first play of the game or whatever. But like,
yeah, exactly.
And that's where you go in again to like all the conversations about all these quarterbacks, and this will now be my campaign for the rest of the year until the cuck losers that have literally never worn a football helmet put Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame next February. But the best ability is availability. If that is what happened, and we'll never know, it's like, yeah, not getting concussed on the third play of the Super Bowl is like part of the game.
Sure. We actually have an Eli call. I can just play it real quick. I know we got a lot. Where I really want to delve in later in the show into this Mavs stuff. It's never seen anything like it as a fan. But let's get this Eli call out of the way since you mentioned him. It kind of works.
Hey, Andy and Joe, just Hunter from Michigan calling in and I wanted to talk about the Eli situation with him not getting into the Hall of Fame. So just a quick backstory on me. I am a Denver Broncos fan, even though I grew up in Michigan my whole life, because of the fact that when I was growing up, I always wanted to turn on NFL Network rather than like cartoons and things like that. And so growing up in the early 2000s, NFL Network was just, full of Elway highlights and things like that. And so I asked my mom to get me an Elway Halloween costume when I was like 4 or something like that. And it just kind of went from there. And I always felt that Elway was really underrated because of the fact that he just had the 2 at the end. And, he had a lot of a career with, I would say a middle of the pack team. And I feel like he elevated them to be able to go to the Super Bowl, sort of the way, Kelly did that with the Bills, where they didn't really have any business being at the Super Bowl, which is why they got destroyed. But I'm going to go ahead and say Eli Manning is without a doubt at this point the most underrated quarterback in the history of the NFL. The stuff that this guy did with the New York Giants and everybody going into those Patriots teams, I mean, obviously, especially the first one, nobody thought that they had any chance of winning. And the Giants, if you look at them on paper, had no business even being in the playoffs. So as somebody who grew up appreciating Elway and everything that he did, I think Eli just took it to a whole nother level. So that's my stance. Let me know what you guys think. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Hunter. By the way, a few things before we get to the actual point about Eli being underrated. Bro, you were watching the NFL Network at 4? like, are you my kid?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Just sitting there watching, going, seeing Elway highlights and going, "Oh my god, oh
Yeah,
my god."
so you got into Elway that long, which it's interesting that he brings it up. I don't know if you've seen this, Hunter. You probably saw it. There were so many side by side of John Elway stats versus, for some reason, he was the guy that everybody chose, probably because they both have 2 Super Bowls. Elway and Eli. Did you notice that?
I did not see that. No.
So many people were posting a side by side. He was actually the main guy. It was like Elway's considered this. Eli, let's look at their numbers head to head. Now, Elway again had a lot more regular season wins, but they both have 2 Super Bowl MVPs, if I'm correct. I think Elway does. But the point was, like, that's interesting that you bring that up.
I think he only has one.
Did Terrell Davis get the other one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as a guy whose sports fandom basically coincided with John Elway's career, like I became a sports fan as John Elway was going to and losing Super Bowls. I mean, the first Super Bowl I have any memory of watching whatsoever is obviously the first Giants Super Bowl, which is a win over the Broncos. Before Elway got the 2 late Super Bowls, he was quickly becoming one of the most underrated quarterbacks ever because he had reached that Marino level where he had all the career accolades, but none of the Super Bowls. And like, thank God for him to get those Super Bowls at the end. But what's amazing is like they had great defenses and he had the MVP of the league on his team. And people don't like talk about that enough, but
It's true.
But at the same time, like he was such a great quarterback and he got a reputation for being like a choker or whatever because he went, like, it was very LeBron James-esque. He would take Broncos teams to the Super Bowl and lose to just like absolute dominating football teams. And listen, underrated, overrated is my, whole shtick. And also, Eli Manning has been called overrated by so many people that it's just ludicrous to me. I actually could not agree more about the fact that at this point, when you look at everything he's done, people point to that career record and you're like, but on what teams? And listen, I'll say it. I'm going to make 2 points about this. First of all, and I posted this on Twitter a couple, like last week or whatever. Why don't we say what if Troy Aikman didn't win those 3 Super Bowls? Eli Manning's stats fucking crushed Troy Aikman's. Troy Aikman in the Hall of Fame because in addition to all those stats, he won 3 Super Bowls with dominating football teams and first ballot. Not like, oh, you play with Irvin, you play with Emmett, you play with a great defense, you play with the best offensive line in decades. We're going to make you wait to the second ballot. It's a very new thing, this like, you're going to wait. And that's why it's shameful. But the second thing is the guy who reminds me of Eli currently, and I can tell you with good intel that my Giants are sniffing around him is Matt Stafford. I have legitimate sources that.
Well, those sources have leaked. Have you seen some of the stuff going online?
No.
Yeah,
I heard it from somebody close to the organization last week. I was like, hey, I like this plan of let's get Matt Stafford 2 years, sit him, draft Arch next year, sit him for a year under Stafford. And the response I got was, well, we can't draft Arch Manning if we make the playoffs with Matt Stafford. And I was like, all right, so I'm rooting for a shit year by Texas.
So somebody posted, I don't know who it was. That's actually what I saw. And I don't know, maybe it was an article. I read so much of this crap. It was Stafford. This is a wild one. I was like, wow, this would be insane if this happened. It was Stafford to the Giants, Aaron Rodgers to the Rams.
Wow.
And I was like, does Sean McVay really want to take that on?
Yeah.
But that was...
It seems like Stafford's got more in his tank than Aaron Rodgers.
I agree at this point.
But we're now at that point where it's like, and that's why I said this year I was rooting for Matt Stafford when it's like, I know the Giants organization isn't the Lions, but when you look through the teams that Eli was on. Like he just never had. Like Jalen Hurts just won the Super Bowl with the number 1 ranked defense.
You know what I don't understand about the Rams? They played the Eagles tougher than anybody in the playoffs. They literally got down to like the 20-yard line, and
Yeah.
they didn't. But my point is, it was a game. It was a good game.
And now they're like revamping.
And I'm just like they drafted so well. They get the Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I look at that team and I'm like, I don't know why you would want to get rid of Stafford, because in my opinion, you actually are very close to a Super Bowl, at least contending for one.
I think the thought process is we're not ready to win the Super Bowl, but look at how good we draft. Like we're just so good at this that like we have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl in 3 years if we go full reshuffle than if we try to play this out. And let's get our next, let's get the team in place, and then we can go grab the next Matt Stafford, whether that be in the draft or that be somebody, like would you be shocked if the Rams did this again? Like if 3 years from now the Rams were Super Bowl champs with Trevor Lawrence?
No, apparently Pittsburgh was going after him.
I'm just saying. I'm just like trying to take a known quarterback entity that isn't appreciated because maybe he's on a shit dump franchise, and
so that's my thing.
Sean McVay unlocks him.
I think with all these organizations now, again, they're businesses, guys. You have to view these things as a business. All these sports organizations, they're a business. But my point is, we know businesses that are run well. There's common businesses that are run well that they're efficient businesses. They make money. They're also run well. I think as fans, and this kind of will lead into the Dallas thing or to any of these discussions. We need to start viewing these owners and these GMs and these teams as businesses. And you're right. With the Rams, it's like the Rams are a well-run business.
Yeah.
Call it what it is.
Yeah.
They haven't really missed a beat. They've played in 2 Super Bowls, one with Goff. They won one with Stafford. Again, they've made the playoffs, but like they're a well-run business. Things aren't just suddenly going to change for a Browns or a Cowboys or a Bengals or a Jets. Like, guys, it's the same ownership group.
Yeah.
I hate to shit on anyone's parade, but like that's the truth. You don't change unless there is change.
And you know what? Listen, I've dunked on Yankees fans about it, and anybody that wanted to do it for me as a Giants fan, obviously we got one but like George Steinbrenner's dead.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between George Steinbrenner and Hal Steinbrenner. And, Wellington Mara's dead. And the Giants have not been the same since. We had a little bit, and yeah, obviously it's still good to be run by, if you're the Yankees, still be run by the Steinbrenner family, or if you're the Giants, but like it can be as simple as that one guiding force can change everything.
But like, that's my point.
So these teams that just don't have an owner, or never had an owner that is like good at all.
Like the Eagles just won. Lore's been a very good owner. Like he's gone all in. They have Howie Roseman. They do the right things. Like it's you probably haven't seen as much on this, but my take. I was texting Justin Wood the other day, and I said this, and now everybody's saying this. I'm not trying to say I was the first. I think I even said on Dirty Sports. I said, has a quarterback like Joe Burrow ever been so vocal? I've never seen it, and everybody's saying that now about re-signing his own guys. And everybody's saying the same thing. They go, no, he hasn't. But I say this, and this is just me being honest with everybody, as someone who grew up in Cincinnati. I told you, Burrow, and a lot of people like Carson Palmer did, pull an Eli Manning, pull a John Elway. Again, back to Eli and Elway. Don't go to the Bengals. And here you are. And I hate to break it to you, Burrow. You have 4 scouts, the least amount of scouts. Like you walk to practice in cleats on a concrete surface. This isn't going to change, dude. You fucked up.
Yeah.
You fucked up.
And then there's the whole, again, we talked about Joe Burrow advocating for his guys, but like, the weapons get the attention, but like, I mean, prime example, like all these teams, like the Eagles didn't win. It was nice for the Eagles to have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley, but they won because they were built from the middle out.
So
And for Burrow, it's again a critique of the ownership. If your quarterback's talking like that,
100%.
if you don't have, if your quarterback doesn't have faith in your ownership to just be like, oh, they know what I need, and we have all these. Basically, if those conversations aren't happening behind closed doors, your owner's bad.
And again, this,
Or you have like a fucking diva, but I don't think that's what Joe Burrow is.
no, he's definitely not a diva, and that's kind of where this will segue into the Mavs thing. The last thing I'll say about that is exactly that. And these fans, guys, I'll say this as fans. I have no problem if you have a shitty owner. I've said this forever. If you have a bad run organization, a bad run business, don't support it. Don't support it. So all these Bengals fans were like, if they don't do it right now, I'm done. Dude, they haven't done it right for 30 years.
Yeah.
You think they're suddenly going to get a scouting department? They're suddenly going to get an indoor practice facility? And the last thing on that, I've been up late a lot of these nights, right? Because I got a baby and you do feedings. I go down these just Ruther rabbit holes. Fun fact here, as far as winning a Super Bowl, and the Eagles are a prime example. And this is no surprise. I just went 10 years back. Of the last 10 Super Bowl champs, 9 of the 10 had top 10 defense point per games. Of the 10, 5 had top 5 points allowed per games. Guys, this isn't rocket science. It's literally basically a fact at this point. You will not, the one outlier was one Chiefs team. You will not win a Super Bowl unless you have a top 10 points per games. Like in this era that we're in, I have 10 years of evidence, 90% hit rate. So to somebody like Burrow or anybody else, advocate for all your weapons all you want. You just said it. The Eagles, they got Devontae Smith. They got Brown. They got Saquon. They got these guys. They also had the best defense. This discussion's over.
And again, it also puts a button on just the disrespect. 17th and 25th for Eli Manning. 17th and 25th. I don't know if you guys know how many teams are in the league.
Again, it is very impressive when you put it in context like that after what I just said of the last 10. But let's go to the Mavs because we're talking ownership and we're talking fans.
This is one of the craziest things.
I don't know where to start. You and I have texted a lot about it. There are a lot of conspiracies that go, way beyond. And I think we both kind of in agreement that there's something deeper?
Well, it feels like there's something deeper. The start of something deeper for me is before the Luka trade or any of this. Mark Cuban, for everything that he is, billionaire, internet guru from the beginning, from the early days, Shark Tank, low-cost drug things. You are, first and foremost, the Dallas Mavericks owner. When you get Mark Cuban on a talk show, on a CNN to talk about
politics or whatever,
or drug prices or whatever, you go, CEO and president of the Dallas Mavericks, also blah blah from Shark Tank, also like that is first. Like we all know who Mark Cuban is because he bought the Mavs and he was outspoken fan
from day one.
Sits courtside, which not a lot of owners do. He rooted for his team. He wore the gear. He was the first person to put PlayStations in all their lockers and go with the lavish locker room thing, treat the players good and whatever.
Update the arena, make it a fan experience.
Mark Cuban only has Shark Tank because he was the Mavs owner. Like he wouldn't have just been like, oh, kind of good looking billionaire. Let's give him a TV show. No. So the conspiracy starts with, why did Mark Cuban sell the Mavs?
I agree. I think it does start there.
Not only from a like that's weird standpoint, but like I don't know how, like You don't have to be a shark to know that NBA franchise values just keep going up.
Just keep going up and up. And some people go, well, look, he made this many billions by selling his controlling interest.
Cool. So
Cool. Yeah, he would have increased it. Yeah, that was a head scratcher for sure.
that to me is where it starts. Goes, what's behind that? And is what behind that? He knows that being the Mavericks owner is so important to him that he wrote in, still the president, I'll sell you this team, but I still want to have controlling basketball operations, blah, 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 blah.
But does he?
That's where the layers of this conspiracy unravel, which is like he was so outspoken about his love of Luka. Then he's, in clips that you showed me, like,
Well, let's go before that. Let's just go to the clip with Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And his analogy of Microsoft and Luka.
But this is post trade, correct? Yeah.
This one? No, I think this one is pre-trade.
Okay.
This one's a couple of years ago. He's basically saying how good Luka is. I think this is. I have so many clips sitting in here.
Yeah.
Let me see if this is the right clip. Let's see.
I wanted to start off with a question because you've been in, unique situations, and maybe you can help. If after you left Microsoft,
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, because he's saying after he left the Mavs.
you found out that Steve Ballmer traded.
Oh damn it! I don't have the full clip. Anyway, I don't know why it's cut off. Basically,
But-
he's saying they traded from Microsoft 11 to Microsoft 10.
Yeah.
I believe is the quote. So you're right. He's saying.
Also, how
But-
dare you with how good Luka is, even compare him to a Windows operating system?
So you're right. So it's like, how do they do this? But at the
Somebody
same
said- it would have been nice if the paperclip that bothers you whenever you're on a PC would have vetoed the fucking Luka trade. Are you sure you want to trade Luka? It looks like you're trying to trade Luka. Hey, paperclip, go away.
And then you have him here at the game the other day. Look, he's standing up. He's telling the fans that are chanting "Fire Nico." It's just a contrast, right?
Yeah.
Well, why are my full clips not showing? God damn it! Do any of these clips work? Terrible job by me. Sorry. Basically, he stands up
It's okay.
and he says, "Sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up." And the Mavs thing is wild because people are getting kicked out, like this guy. Getting kicked out for mouth. They're doing the kiss cam. All he did there was say "Fire Nico," like through his lips.
Yeah.
And then here he is getting kicked out.
Yeah. That's some James Dolan shit.
Yeah, like you're kicking a guy out on the kiss cam who's just saying "Fire Nico," and again, so the conspiracies are this: you have the owners are what? You have the Dumont, and then you have the Dumont Adelson ownership. Now the Adelsons basically built Vegas or had a controlling interest through Sands, through all those casinos. I think they're trying to put their imprint. I think their imprint's now more in, if I'm correct, in China or overseas somewhere. But the conspiracies, there's a bunch of them. I sent you there's like 5 or 6 conspiracies. One of them is that this all goes back to there's no footprint yet in Dallas or in Texas with gambling. And they want to create this mega casino center in Dallas. But again, it's confusing. How does the Luka trade involve with that?
Right. Is it, and then there's this oh, it's easier to get support if you're trying to save a bad team situation as opposed to if it's a draw all on its own. But that just seems too major league. right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, we have to lose to be able to do this thing where we move, like, and you're like, okay. And then there's the talk of move to Vegas, which I just think is insane because, again, Dallas is the 4th biggest market in America behind New York, LA, Chicago. Vegas is, in the teens or the 20s or whatever it is. It's like, to move, if you have a sports franchise, to move from Dallas to Vegas would be insane. I don't care about all the money in Vegas, whatever. Like, you know how much money's in Dallas? So yeah, it's insane. And that's why the conspiracy starts with, none of this happens if Mark Cuban owns the Mavs. Why doesn't Mark Cuban own the Mavs?
So here's my thing. If he said, I just want to take a step back, I want to move on. These guys are these entrepreneurs, these billionaires. They're go, go, go. All of them. They're go, go, go 24/7. These guys don't know how to stop. If he said, I'm done with this, though, I'm moving on to other stuff, cool. But you're not. You're still at the games. Like, that's what's confusing. Like, why would you
yelling at people?
Yeah, why would you sell your controlling interest?
Well, listen, I've also spoken on this show at length about my hatred of the city of Dallas in terms of, like, I can't think of a place I'd less rather live in America. Like, I hate it. So I'd also understand him being like, I'm in LA all the time. I'm in New York all the time. I'm in Miami all the time. I'm in Vegas all the time. I'm in San Francisco all the time. I'm just done being in Dallas. Like, Dallas was the only franchise I could get my hands on. I was a Pittsburgh guy. I wanted this. I wanted that. Like, just being like, I'm done spending every, third night at an arena in Dallas. But then you sell it and you're still in fucking Dallas. You're like, that's what I'm saying. This all goes back. Like, what the fuck is going on with Mark Cuban?
So let me ask you this, at least in my opinion. When the Mavs won, when they beat the Heat with Dirk and Jason Kidd and Terry and just that, like,
the 2011 Mavs team that I'll make a documentary about one day.
You've always talked about this team. In my opinion, I've never seen an owner who wanted to win a title, who was more outspoken, more passionate.
Is his Twitter profile picture still the fucking him and the NBA championship trophy in the plane seat next to him from that ride home?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's my point, is like, I've never, it still is, smoking a cigar. Like, I've never seen someone who cared. And I think that's why, a lot of people liked him. I know I did when he first bought the team. It's like,
because it was like, and he wasn't
some old white guy who just sat there in his suite.
And he wasn't a Mavs fan, but it was like, he bought the team that he could get his hands on.
Correct.
But what it became was, what was the Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
It felt like if a fan bought the team.
Correct.
Every fan's like, if I bought a team, I would do it this way. And it was like Mark Cuban was a Mavs fan who bought the team.
100%.
And now the Mavs fan who bought the team sold the team, and then they immediately traded their best player. I don't want to say ever, but like arguably.
Yeah, and for younger viewers, again, I know a lot of you guys, like, because I know Cuban got very involved in politics in the last few years. Like, you got to take all that out of it. I'm telling you, nobody in my life, that's why I bring that up. Nobody, I think you'd agree, right, wanted a title more. Like, wanted a title more. He was so involved. He was
getting fined and ejected by refs.
Guys, he worked. I remember this vividly.
It was like if Spike Lee owned the Knicks.
Yeah. He literally, he said those guys couldn't work at Dairy Queen, and he did a stunt like early on. You remember this?
Yep.
And he worked at a Dairy Queen. This was like 2002, 2003. Like, the point was, he was brash. He was, maybe some people didn't like him, but and that's fine. But my thing was, like, as a young sports
back
fan,
in my day, owners stayed up in their suites.
Yeah,
and they made sure the shorts were shorts. And Rick Mahorn was elbowing people, and there was hand checking, and none of all these threes.
But like my point is like as a guy in his 20s, I was like, oh, it's cool to see an owner like this. So he's still there and he's still at the games, but he sold his controlling interest. It doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up.
And then look what's happened to the Lakers, dude. Lakers are legitimately like, how could you say that they're not title contenders now?
They lost to the Jazz, so
No, but how can you say they're not title
Yeah.
contenders when we hated everything about Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie Irving went to the finals last year because he got paired with Luka? Like, LeBron will be 60 before he's worse than Kyrie Irving in terms of building a team around. Now, Dallas had a lot of young talent last year to go along with it. But you take the greatest player of all time and you pair him with the guy who essentially single-handedly led his team to the finals last year. Like, they are a contender.
yeah. I mean, again, it just doesn't add up. None of it makes sense. And from a fan's perspective,
And that's why when you get into the Mark Cuban thing, it's like, was this just a business decision in that if you're a smart businessman and somebody comes and offers you way more than you're a smart business guy, you value your team at this much. You're like, oh, if I sold my thing, if they come and they offer you way more, and you're like, I just got to do it as a business. I could turn around and buy this basketball team, or I could go around and turn around and buy the Pittsburgh Pirates now if I wanted. And then the conspiracy goes to, well, why are they spending so much money? Like, what are they going to do? What's this plan? That's where you lead into all this like casino conspiracies, or are they moving the team to China? Or are they like,
well, so from the fans,
but then even if that, why do you want to get rid of Luka?
Well, that's my thing is like you're losing generations of fans. I mean, again, I don't think, look, at the end of the day, I don't think any of these people care, any of these owners. We all know what the TV deals are for all these leagues. That's where they're making their money, the TV deals. So it doesn't matter if anybody shows up. Doesn't matter. But as a fan, I totally get people being like, hey, I'm done with this. Like, again, it's a business. If the business treats you poorly, you don't go back. You don't go back.
Dude, here's the current state of the Mavs. The current state of the Mavs is they sold their owner that everybody loves, sold the team. They essentially immediately traded their best player. The guy that they loved and traded him for is now not going to play indefinitely. And they're kicking fans out for being upset about it. It's bad.
It's bad. I've never seen anything like it.
Time's turned pretty quick.
Like it's turned on a dime. It's just it's spun again. I've never seen anything like this. And I can't imagine the frustration if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, because again, this isn't 30 years of bad ownership on a different team. Like, this isn't, oh, we saw this coming. This was literally, you were just in the NBA finals.
Yeah.
6-7 months ago.
How quickly things change, huh?
I've never seen anything like this. Cuban was your owner. And now you got these guys coming in, literally kicking out fans for having an opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
it's James Dolan shit.
Like, and if I'm a Mavs fan, I don't know how you can support them. That's the truth. I don't know how you can go to games. I don't know how you can watch games. Now it sucks because I know this isn't the players, and you support the players, and I get there is a difference. But like, I don't know what a fix is for this. But like, to me, I don't see an easy fix.
No. Moving the team to Vegas, I guess.
But isn't that like LeBron's baby?
Yeah.
An expansion team to Vegas.
Yeah.
That's
the other thing about that wild conspiracy theory is like, you wouldn't move a Dallas. Like, You'd expand to Vegas. Why would you retract a team in the fourth biggest market in America?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So obviously the Lakers were the big winner in the trades.
Yeah.
Like the biggest winner by far. Who are some other teams where you're like, okay,
I mean, I love De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs.
okay.
The Kings, what like where's our boy Luka? Cash Money. Where's like what? Remember all the times the Kings have had like surges of relevancy. Oh, we got the two best young point guards. We got De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. And then it was like they traded Halliburton, and it was like, did they trade the right guy, or should they have traded? Now they're both gone. You sent De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, so young, so talented. Now he's got Pop. Now he's got Wembanyama. I love that deal for them. But like, also, what are the Kings doing? This is another one where it's like you root for the players. So if I change my players every year and we never win, the Kings back in the day, like when we were young, and I hate to be like old guy, but like when teams didn't move around, you would just be like, I guess I just go appreciate Mitch Richmond every day. It's like, we're not going to win, but like, I guess that's what I got. I guess I got some Mitch Richmond loving.
But then again, they had the Chris Webber, the Peja, and what Bibby, like those squads were good that competed against the Lakers in the Western Conference. Like that, like what was that when the Maloof brothers owned it? It's like, like it's head scratching. And again, if you're a fan on these teams,
remember they were like the 2 seed a couple years ago, and they lost in the first round, and everybody was like, and I was like, you guys will be back out of the playoffs next year. Oh, this is the beginning of a.
But again, what was the point I made before all this? Before we even started, my point was ownership. Like guys, you can catch lightning in a bottle for a couple years. If you're a shittily run organization, if you're a shittily run business, you might have a hot streak for a business. Oh, you got a new deal, or a new product came out. Like, these organizations are not run well. The Jags might, they made the AFC Championship. Look at the Jags. Yeah, back to being the Jags. Oh, the Bengals made the Super Bowl and then the AFC Championship. Look at that.
The Jags made the championship. Duval, we have the Allens, the best wide receiver combo in the league. Eat my ass, Brano. Eat my Raymond Assisi. Swingman 9.
Guys, in the lore of dirty sports history. What other trades did you like?
Those were the headline.
Those are the big ones.
The headline deal. Yeah. What other ones did I like? What other ones was I a fan of?
What do you think about Jimmy Butler on the Warriors?
I mean, that's he's like certainly an upgrade. I think that's a great move for them too. They were not contending for anything. I don't think Jimmy Butler makes them a contender, but like, okay, you gotta extend him for 2 years, $61 million a year or whatever it is. But like, what else is the plan? This is not Luka to the Lakers. We now have our post Steph plan. This is one last hurrah. It's like, I don't mind the 2 years and just seeing what we can make happen, because they did it with Andrew Wiggins, who obviously went in the deal. They made a nice move for Wiggins a few years ago. They won a championship with him. I don't think that's going to happen with this Warriors team, but I like it better than where they were at. And also Jimmy Butler getting out of Miami, it's a win for Miami too, because we all know, like, you want to talk about ownership and you want to talk about whoever's in charge. Like, that's the great thing about the Heat, is they have an ownership group that they let Pat Riley buy into and then gave him control. It's like the Heat are always going to be fine. As long as Pat Riley, unless he gets fucking Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
like the Heat are going to be fine. So that's a kind of a great deal all around.
Yeah, I agree. As long as he's calling the shots, they've obviously had prolonged success. I'm trying to scroll through here if there was any other trades that stuck out for me as well.
Ben Simmons to the Clips.
Bro, he's still in the NBA.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's wild.
It's Chris Wild.
Have you been to the Intuit Dome, by the way?
No, I haven't.
I talked to Majid yesterday. He was like, dude, it's insane.
I've heard it's pretty fun. I've heard good things.
It's just like nuts. I also talked to Nick D'Alessandro, Nicky D. He's still
Utah in it.
Still Utah on it, but we were actually talking about the excitement of the Luka trade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Like you have me very interested to watch the Lakers now.
Yeah, for sure. I got to reach out to Nicky D because we've worked on a couple things together recently. But bachelor party in Salt Lake City, I was like, oh, maybe I just maybe throw Nick a couple bucks to join that bachelor party and just shoot camera on it that I can,
in Park City.
Yeah.
Wait, you're gonna have a Nick cam, a bachelor cam?
the end of The Hangover when they go through all the pictures. If you thought there was a lot of fucking penis and if you thought there was a lot of penis in The Hangover, wait till you bachelor party with Mikey.
Oh, there'd be a lot of cock and balls out with Mikey. I mean, is he still dropping his nuts on people's faces when they pass out?
I don't know.
Like at what point do you graduate dropping your nuts on someone's face?
I feel like he's mostly graduated, but now also this is gonna be bachelor party situation. That's where
I'll be honest, there's nothing worse than letting a dude, like if you're passed out drunk and a 40-year-old dude's nuts are on your face. That's far worse than that happening at 22. Like a 42-year-old's nuts just resting on your face when you're passed out.
I was talking to Brian, who's here. He's coming to the bachelor party, and he's like, he's like 40-something snowboarding, skiing bachelor party is wild because like we're not like built for this, man. We're not built for like going out and like drinking and then getting up and getting like first tracks. And I was like, yeah. I was like, you're not even prepared for like Mikey. And he's like, what? I was like, Mikey is going to be the last person to go to bed. He's going to pull a bearskin rug over his naked body at 2:30 in the morning and pass out on the couch. And then he's going to be up at 5:30, like the rooster crowing, being like, let's ride. And he's like, oh, I was like, it doesn't matter. Mikey get hit with a fucking trank gun. He's getting up at 6 a.m.
Are you like, or we doing strippers? Like you doing strippers?
I mean, I probably not. I mean, it's Utah after all.
There's some hot Mormon girls.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Mormon girls are attractive, to be honest.
All right. I don't have a ton of experience, so I guess we'll find out. My thing is I just want to like
soakers.
Is
it docking or soaking? I always forget
it. Soaking. Docking is when you pull your penis foreskins over each other, right?
What is it? Docking is a gay thing?
I think so.
Can we have a docking correspondent for Dirty Sports? Let's get on the phone with our docking correspondent.
We did have a soaking correspondent back in the day, right? Didn't we have somebody call in about soaking?
Yeah. That's what they should have named the hockey team, because I don't think they have a name. I think we talked about that. Utah Soakers.
Aren't they like the...
They didn't pick a name. I think it's the Utah Hockey Club right now.
Really?
They backed off. They were going to do...
Like the Yeti or something like that?
Yeah, but there was it's Utah Hockey Club. You know what it was? There was I think there was a trademark or something.
With Yeti?
Yeah.
Because of like the thermoses?
They don't have a name yet. They have finalists. What are the finalists? The finalists are down to 3.
Sister Wives,
Should be.
Soakers, Super Soakers.
That'd be great. The Outlaws,
Yes. Utah, known for their outlaw behavior, like drinking
Mammoth,
3.2% beer.
Mammoth, and sticking with Utah Hockey Club. I assume Mammoth, goes back to like historically.
Yeah, I like that. Kind of like that.
What about Mammoth Soakers?
Just woolly mammoths docking their penises against each other.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't stick with Utah Hockey Club. But that would also,
UHC sounds like a fucking Weird Al movie from the 80s.
or like a shitty community college. I got a UHC. Yeah, you go to UHC.
Oh, that's great. You looking to transfer in a couple years? No, I just go to UHC. Oh, okay.
So you think the Lakers are legit?
I mean, do I think they're legit? I guess no, but I think anything is like when you pair 2 players of that, like caliber.
But how do they play together is the question.
That's the question, and we're gonna find out. But if LeBron can slide into this, run the offense less mode, it could be good for him. Listen, it's better. It's better than where they were at for sure. And like, don't sleep on a team that has Luka Doncic, who again single-handedly took the Mavs to the finals last year, being paired with I don't care what age LeBron James.
Yeah,
they can do some interesting things, no doubt about it.
Is All-Star Weekend this weekend?
Yeah.
But you don't really care, right?
It's lost its luster a little bit. But, I'll check in on some shit.
Yeah.
It's in it's at Golden State, isn't it?
Yeah, it's San Francisco.
So, I'm in Tahoe. This is sort of a Bay Area outskirt. I'm sure it'll be on. Oh, let me do that while I have it. I'm sure I'll watch some things at the pub. I say it every time I'm here, but I'll say it again. If you ever come to South Lake Tahoe, you got to go to McDuff's Pub, the greatest pub in this side of the Mississippi, I always say. And definitely the greatest Scottish pub in America. Just the best people, the best food, the best drink. Just go. If you're ever in South Lake Tahoe, you got to go to McDuff's. It's the best.
And that's where you'll be partying for your wedding, right?
That's where our reception will be. Correct.
That's where I will be breaking it down on the dance floor, right?
Right. We'll play. Oh my God.
No, she loves the cha-cha slide. Actually,
I'm gonna need somebody to Photoshop Isla with the Mets "Oh my God" sign from last year.
She turns 2 tomorrow. They grow up quick, man. I was trying to think. I was like, when is the earliest birthday I remember? Like, when's the first time I remembered an actual birthday?
It's funny. That is my first memory is of a birthday party of mine, because we would do my older brother John. Our birthdays were only 6 days apart or whatever, so we would always do. And then my sister, when she came along, she was also mid-June, so we would do kind of like just like invite everybody over. It was just like a big family barbecue, and then we'd celebrate our birthdays together in the summer. And I want to say it was either my 3rd or my 4th birthday. The big barbecue pool party to celebrate either my 3rd or my 4th birthday is my first memory.
Yeah, so that's it for you. You remember that young. I remember getting Star Wars figures. I don't know what birthday it was. Like a giant C-3PO and also a Darth Vader, you know, a case where you kept the figures.
Yeah.
Which side note, I watched I got these weird random late nights. I watched season 3 of Mandalorian. I know you probably dropped off, but
Yeah.
it was like 2 years ago. I finally watched it.
How was it?
That was pretty good.
It's funny you say that because I remember, I think the end of season 2 is when Luke shows up. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, finally a great moment in this. And then I never went back.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I don't know. It's just, my thought on all that stuff is just, it's like any of it. It's oversaturation.
For sure.
And like my brothers were texting last night about Cobra Kai, and I was like, guys, like, I just stopped. Like, there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
You got to just.
You're like, I have a lot of documentaries to watch, guys.
Oh, I do.
You're like, I have a whole new OJ documentary to get into.
Crushed it. I already crushed that. Crushed the Max, the TMZ Diddy one. I'm gonna watch the new Diddy one on Universal. Just crushed the Dirty Pop, which came out last year about Lou Pearlman on Netflix. Oh yeah. I really am the king of documentaries.
I want you to know that your relationship to the boy band world still registers with my sister. She called me the other day and she goes, because it's crazy. I'm getting married here in Tahoe, and there used to be all these flights direct from the East Coast to Reno Tahoe Airport, and now they're like less and less and less. And one of them gets them in late. She has a kid. She'll have a second kid by then. She's like, I don't know if we're gonna do that. She's like, I think I want to figure out some place to stop over. So then she calls me and she's like, we're gonna stop in Vegas and we're gonna see Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
Oh yeah, they got I think 9 nights. I saw.
She's like, this is the greatest thing ever. She's like, where do I got to sit at the Sphere? Blah blah blah. And then she goes, your boy Andy Ruther got a hookup, and I was like, he works for a guy in NSYNC. She's like, I know, but she's like, it's all one thing. She's like, it's all one thing. I was like, Andy lives in Ohio now. He has 2 daughters. I don't think he talks to any of the people that run any of the boy bands anymore.
No, I do. I was actually texting. This week with Lance and Drew. We were texting because I got something on my phone about like it was officially 9 years ago, our last show. And then we were texting a few months before that about like because Lance has 2 kids. And Drew's like, Ruther's got another kid in the way. And I was like, got any advice? And then I was like, why am I asking Lance? He is a night nurse. He's probably got he's got millions of dollars. I'm not asking you. Like you by the way, that's what I'm like. That's when you know you got some money. And I don't know if he does. I assume that would be the best thing ever. The night nurse.
My sister's doing that again.
Oh.
She did it the first time, and she's doing it again.
Your sister a drug dealer? Night nurse? You can afford a night nurse, bro. You know how great that is? You can just sleep.
Yeah, I think she's like literally having a lady live with them for like 3 months.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like that's. What's that? By the way, what's that interview process like?
I'm sure it's all like recommendation, right?
Can you like build a night nurse, like a Build-A-Bear? Like I want like a 65-year-old Guatemalan woman.
Jamaican's way to go.
Jamaican. Why Jamaican?
I mean, I got the baby now. Don't worry. Go to bed. Oh, you lay your little head down there. Don't worry about the baby.
A baby grows up just listening to Rastafari music.
Yeah. Jamaica.
I've actually never been to Jamaica.
Me either.
Like, isn't that where they do hedonism?
Yeah, I think so. It's amazing that you just dropped a hedonism on everybody.
I knew it, dude. The one year I was a teacher in Las Vegas, he went, not like when he was a teacher, he went, I think in college or something. I remember him being like I don't even know how he got in. I think it's called Hedonism 2. What is Hedonism 1? I don't really understand. Funny you bring this up. I literally went to their website the other day because my friends and I have always had a joke about hedonism. But I think it's couples only. I think he went solo and he was like, dude, nobody wanted to get near me. He was the creeper at hedonism because it's swingers.
Yeah.
You can't just roll in there with a bottle of Cialis and
Anybody need me to fuck their wives? Like, nah, we're good, dude.
no, dude. But if you got a wife, we can switch.
Yeah.
You can't just roll in here solo. Angriest dude ever, by the way. He was a
Yeah.
New Yorker. He was a New Yorker. Greek dude. That guy, I always laugh. I love his line. He'd say every day, I'd be in his room before the school day would start and the bell would ring for the first class. And he'd go, that's always the worst part of my day. And I'm like, you are in the wrong profession, man.
Yeah.
You're literally a brand, like we're both fresh out of college. You're a brand new teacher. If the worst part of your day is when that bell rings for first period, he was also a heavy metal guitarist. Like intense.
This guy's got a lot of issues.
So he'd be an English teacher. And I went and I saw him a couple
Listens
times.
to a lot of Joe Rogan these days.
Well, I don't know what he listens to.
Listens to
But-
a lot of Joe Rogan these days. He was trying to go to hedonism solo, angry guitar. Like this guy, I can't think of anybody that screams more incel than this dude.
You think Rogan's crowd has a lot of incels? Why?
Oh, because a couple of years ago when they started getting like Joe Rogan is one of the first people to kind of put like the whole Jordan Peterson thing on the map. It's like if you don't get girls, make sure you only eat red meat, make your bed every day. And it's like, and get tickets to hedonism too. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No,
Like,
I don't think hedonism too has anything to do with that.
No, I'm saying that was him. That's him trying to fuck. You know what I'm saying?
I think the guy I'm talking about. Well, first of all, he was married. I just think I just felt he was an interesting dude. Because again, English teacher, normal dude. And then
Nothing normal about this guy that you tell me so far. He's an English teacher who hates children and teaching. He plays plays metal guitar.
Oh, and
he goes to hedonism.
I'm talking like the makeup and
Yeah.
get into character when he plays his songs. And I don't know if you've ever been to like an intense, I don't know if you call it death metal. I went a couple times. You literally can't talk to anybody.
Dude, I can't even, my girlfriend listens to that shit. I can't even talk to her in the car. It'll be on and I'd be like, can we turn off the rocks in the blender?
Like who? Like, give me a band.
I have no fucking idea. It all sounds like I go. Why does it just sound like somebody just dropped rocks in a Cuisinart? It's just like, I'm like, what is this?
So like I would
And then she was like, oh, this is like black metal, and I was like, these are black people, and she's like, no, and I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about?
like
The
some
fuck
of
is
it
black metal then?
is what are the genres? But is death metal one of them? Heavy metal?
I don't fucking know. Then there was like new metal that was like Korn and shit.
Dude, Korn was hot for a minute. Like
We were just talking about that the other day.
Like they had a popularity. I remember in 8th grade, kids wearing, I went to a Catholic school too, but like on days where you didn't have to wear a uniform, like kids wearing Korn shirts.
Korn, I was literally just talking about this the other day. Korn and bands like Korn were possible because school shootings weren't like popular enough yet. So you got together these 4 guys and you're like, dude, what should we do today? And they were like, should we fucking, and the one dude just like, before the one dude could, there was just like, the drummer sitting in the back and he's just like, he's about to go, should we get semi-automatic rifles and kill everybody at school? Some other guy before he could say that was like, should we start a new metal band? And they were like, fuck yeah. And then Korn happened. Once school shootings became popular, those bands didn't happen because those 5 kids just like put on their trench coats and killed all their fucking classmates.
You think? No, I don't think people who listen to Korn were school shooters.
For fucking sure.
I used to listen to Korn.
Do you remember the fucking? Do you remember their?
I used to listen to
remember
Korn.
their one popular video was literally like a bullet going through everything.
Freak on a Leash.
It was just like a bullet going through fucking. That was a video. A bullet passing through.
Okay. Full disclosure. I recently was like, in the last year, I was like, remember Korn? I started playing some of their songs just to like refresh myself. I mean, look, I'll be honest. A Korn song might,
We were driving up here to Tahoe. Me and my girlfriend were like, me and my fiance were like, you remember Korn? She's like, worst era of music of all time.
A Korn song might creep into an Andy Ruther workout mix occasionally. Like one Korn song, and like one maybe 9 Inch Nails, same thing. Is that the same wheelhouse?
No.
No,
Nine Inch Nails. Trent Reznor's pretty fucking talented.
that's what I'm saying. Like 9 Inch Nails will make some workout songs.
Yeah.
Like I mess with 9 Inch Nails.
The dude with the white dreads and the fucking wrap around yellow glasses in like a faux leather jumpsuit screaming about freaks on a leash. It's not the same.
I'm just saying. Like,
Dude,
I'm not gonna apologize.
Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails collabed with David Bowie. Korn collabed with what, like Stained?
Here's a fun thing. There's a Korn Ice Cube collab. Because I believe they're on the same record label that I used to mess
Yeah.
with.
Are we there yet?
I'm just saying. I'm not gonna look.
It was 3 days ago. We were like, Korn's the worst shit ever, right? She's like, oh yeah.
Enter Andy Ruther.
Yeah.
But again, my workout mix literally could go Korn to like a Backstreet Boys song.
Yeah, your workout mix. I remember when I wanted to test your fucking Swim iPod because I was thinking about getting one of those Swim iPods, and you're just like, oh yeah, just give it a shot. And it was like preloaded with your workout mix. And I'm like, you're working out to like lick it good, stick it good. I was like, what the fuck is this
Yeah.
workout mix?
To some rap song, to like a Madonna song.
Yeah.
Like
I was like, this is what Andy Ruther's working out to?
oh, I'm weird, man. All right, let's pivot to some Major League Baseball.
All
Your
right.
your boy was signed,
Thank God.
Pete Alonso, which by the way, he really miscalculated, right? What was he offered by the Mets before?
I think he was offered a 7-year,
plus.
$158 million deal.
And now he signs what, 2 for 56?
Yeah.
Right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So that was a big misfire here.
Hold on one sec.
Yeah, go for it. So
Yeah, and it's crazy to me. I don't understand it. I'm sure I'm not a huge super heavy analytics thing. I mean, I know he's not the greatest defensive player, but he transitioned into the most obvious DH of all time. It's very similarly to how Giancarlo Stanton did. He went from the NL when they didn't have a DH to the AL and just it was just obvious. Okay, then this guy doesn't have to play defense more. Just to me, feels like he's going to be hitting home runs. He'll be able to provide you home runs for the next, 10 seasons. I just don't understand the like advanced analytics of like this guy's not worth shit.
well, look, I think it worked. I mean, for them, not that it really matters because there's no salary cap. For at least Steve Cohen's bank account, it works out better. Like it works out better because they don't have to sign him to a long-term deal. They're basically saying, I mean, look, the stats back up when these guys age out. Now he's
yeah, no doubt about that.
Like it works out great for the Mets. Not for Pete Alonso.
And then this deal didn't get done for a while because they didn't want to give him like the opt out after a year or two if he plays well. And I'm like, so you believe in him or you don't believe in him? Like, I just think baseball is a game where chemistry matters. He fucking coined "Let's fucking go Mets." The team loves him. He had the biggest hit of the season last year. He transitions to me now that the DH is in the National League into an obvious thing. Like, honestly, I would have signed him to a longer term deal personally, but it works out great provided he's not butthurt about it in some sort of way. But he's so Mr. fucking Met that I'm hoping he's not, because they really have, what's becoming a stacked lineup. And the criticism for the Mets now, especially from across town, which I find hilarious, is like, yeah, but your pitching staff. And it's like, listen, we went into last year with a pitching staff that no one believed in because essentially they sold us on, don't believe in it. This is a transition year. We're going to figure out. Then they went to the NLCS. So I can be critical of, your analytic judgment of Pete Alonso, but like, I trust David Stearns more than I trust myself, even though I think he's probably nerding out and doesn't care about the chemistry at all. I think it's important as a guy who's run, managed baseball teams. I think it's very important. So I think that's a nice piece. But like people shitting on the Mets are going to have a 6-man rotation of guys that are super talented that, are undervalued for one reason or another. Last year, Sean Manaea was undervalued. They snagged him. Luis Severino was undervalued. They snagged him. Both those guys pitched fantastic for the Mets last year. So like all this talk of like the Mets aren't putting together anything real until he gets started. Now, you know me, I'm Mr. Starting pitching guy, but like,
Yeah.
we have transitioned out of that era a little bit of like the Dodgers didn't have aces last year in the playoffs. The Dodgers had no aces, 0. So, I'm very hopeful and very confident that this Mets team is going to compete for sure.
We actually have a call about the Dodgers, so
Let's go.
let's get to that. Once
Now,
again,
the
guys,
Dodgers will
hotline
have aces this year if everybody's healthy, but
310-359-8365 is the hotline. Let's get to this call about the Dodgers.
What's up, boys? First of all, Andy, I think you're going to hate this call, but I feel like not enough people are talking about the Dodgers contract situation and how they're structuring their contracts. My theory is that they're deferring a lot of money because they're looking for a way to sell the team with ratings dropping and viewership going down and all the rule changes that they're happening. They're basically making the average baseball fan hate the fucking sport. I think what they're trying to do is win as many championships as they can, maximize the value of the team, and then sell out and then make the next ownership pay all their players. Interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Stay dirty.
Well, guys, I'm not like, first of all, I'm all this stuff I find interesting. I don't know why you think I'm like, Ruther's going to hate this call.
because you're just a football guy. You have 5 football teams you root for. We have no baseball teams you root for at this point. You're not invested at all. You're invested in like one team in each division in the NFL heavily.
I root for the Reds, but again, it's like.
But you don't, because like you've been, like we said about ownership, you're like, I don't support teams with bad ownership. So I'm just I'm out until they.
Yeah. I mean, I've also never taken like a grandstand of like, I'm boycotting. I just basically haven't gone. Now I know I've said this, like, would I love to take, Isla's old enough now, would I love to take a 2-year-old to a baseball game? Yeah. Maybe not like we'll see Reds or like the independent league team, but I'm not like this stuff. Me, I love the business angle of this stuff. I find it interesting. Like he's saying with the Dodgers and deferring is really interesting
here. As far as that being a theory, it's like, if that's the reason, great. And if that's just a bone, like there's no reason not to defer the money, except that players don't want to take it. But it's like, if you get the guys to sign up, like whether that's the reasoning behind it or just a bonus, either way, it's fantastic. Also, it should for sure be outlawed.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be like, okay, and we'll pay Shohei Ohtani in 2045.
It's an interesting loophole, that's for sure.
and I again,
is baseball like, they can't do that in other sports, can they?
No, because you have to have salary. Like there's no salary cap in baseball, so the money counting against the cap.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, again, what they should do is what these owners should do a million times is make things cheaper. Here's what they need to do.
Well, it's happening, and Mikey tags me in a new one every day, and I feel like I've once again saved an entire sport.
When are we doing $1 Miller Lite night? Brewers. I'm teeing it up for you, Milwaukee. $1 Miller Lite night.
Miller Lite night.
Diesel
Miller Night Light.
There it is.
Let me I've spoken at length about my love of the McDuff's crew up here, and I've told you guys, if you ever come, these guys have a house that I stay in when I'm here, and I open the fridge yesterday. I get here and I open the fridge yesterday, just like get some water. Long drive a couple days ago. When I say they have stocked this thing with Miller Lite, I mean they have stocked this thing. It looked like a Miller Lite display case.
Yeah.
There's probably 75 Miller Lights in there.
Amazing.
And they're like, we got you, dog. We know what you need, and we know what you like. Miller, all that was in there are Miller Lights and RC Colas, which throwback. But I was like, I love this. And it just like, to me, the case in Pulp Fiction when they open it and it like glows gold. That's me anytime I open a fridge, it just happens to have Miller Lights that I wasn't expecting in there. You open a fridge with 75 Miller Lights, it's like a glowing golden sheen that comes over my face.
Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Guys, go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Can I add one additional thing on our Miller Lite ad / chat here? A lot of talk about best beers. Like not like best type of beer. Obviously, that's Miller Lite. What are we talking about? The original light beer. But like people will be like, airport beer is the best beer. Pre-game beer is the best beer. I've heard shower beer is the best beer. Ball game beer. I've stood by ball game beer. To me is about, like, you go to a ball game, it's sunny out. You need a liquid to cool down. You're at a ball game. But I'll do this. I'm going to throw this out there. Après ski beer. Yesterday, me, 2 kids that couldn't make their way down the mountain without falling 17 times. We finally wrap up the day. It's 2 p.m. I go into the lodge, and there's a cooler full of Miller Lite. I was like, this Miller Lite is about to hit harder than any Miller. This is about to be the Mike Tyson uppercut of Miller Lights. This thing is going to hit so hard. This is the Dolph Lundgren in Rocky IV after they've just shown you him get steroided up, punching the PSI machine. I cracked that Miller Lite, and I was like, you ever take a sip of a beverage and give the actual TV commercial audible? I was like, I'm going to go Après Ski Miller Lite. Might be the top Miller Lite. Especially, they're not even my kids. But God, if they were my kids, if that was like my actual son and daughter that had to take skiing, that Après beer, Après Ski parent Miller Lite must hit like crack.
Can we do some quick hitters and get out of here?
Yeah.
Quick hitter stories. Super Bowl set the record for most viewed Super Bowl ever. So all those people who said we're going to boycott because of the refs are the same people who said we're going to boycott because of Colin Kaepernick, are the same people. None of you guys ever boycott. That's my message.
You didn't know that everybody tuned in for those Doge commercials? Have you seen this?
Were there Doge commercials?
No, it's so funny. This is another like weird internet. What? This is a weird internet black hole that you obviously didn't go down. For 4 days prior to the Super Bowl on TikTok, it was just a bunch of conservatives being like, are you only watching the Super Bowl for the Doge commercials? Elon Musk has bought $40 million worth of commercials for his own money to expose government corruption. And then like the next day, like everybody's like, they were just like, what happened to our commercials? And there's literally people on the internet going, it's the most watched Super Bowl because everybody's watching for the Elon commercial. I'm like, this is well, those people are idiots, one. Yeah.
And two, again, it's like I said, the whole history of boycott. Guys, people want to watch the Super Bowl. They do.
Yeah.
And to act like there wasn't an interest level for this game, there was. So the numbers back it up. Okay, another quick rapid fire. Saints hire Kellen Moore. My quick take, he's not moving the needle.
I don't know. I mean, listen.
You think?
I know nothing because I think his offense is pedestrian as fuck. Then they won the Super Bowl and like
with a good defense.
Yeah, with a great defense, but like also, I feel like I should have been in the defensive war room with Steve Spagnuolo and been like, "Hey, man, they're gonna bootleg and throw to Goddard in the flat, and then on any third down over 7 yards, they're just throwing the fade down the sideline. It just seems like he did it for the Cowboys. And it's like, it wasn't that exciting of an offense when they didn't have crazy players to move the needle. So, yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, he's a pretty young guy. Like, I almost, there's some part of me that thinks maybe Kellen Moore will be a good head coach. I mean, obviously he's a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator, but like, I don't know. Maybe there's some part of him that like will be a good head coach. I don't know. It's better for the Saints than a lot of other options.
Yeah, I just thought.
Does it move the needle? I don't know, but I don't hate it.
All right. Apparently, the Jets, before they got rid of Rodgers, had an ultimatum that he would not be, from Aaron Glenn, their new coach, he would not be allowed to go back on the Pat McAfee show weekly, which I think is Aaron Glenn trying to get the house in order, which I don't really have a strong opinion either way on this.
Yeah.
Like,
I think if you're the Jets, that seems like it would be a good rule to have. You're the fucking Jets. You got to stop being a goddamn sideshow all the time. That being said, also, a terrible move if you're going to keep Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers is Mr. like, no one's going to tell me what to do.
Well, and to follow up that, I don't know, there's a lot. I mean, I'm going to laugh so hard. I know I keep saying we're going to have to bring Kyle Aronofsky on here to see his tattoo and talk Jets, but the rumor circulating, I'm sure you've seen it. You probably haven't. Again, it's just a rumor. Possible Kirk Cousins.
I did see that. The most Jets shit ever.
And that's what I would describe it as, just the most Jets thing ever. It's like, that you guys, you need a quarterback. I know they're not easy to find, the generational quarterback, but do not go the Kirk Cousins route. Do not. Get rid of Rodgers, fine. You
know that you get kind of good player last year, underappreciated, probably not going to cost that much. Just go get them some Sam Darnold. You should get a Sam Darnold type.
Okay, two quick questions.
Where's Rodgers going to end up?
Will he be in the end? You think he'll play? Yeah. And then my second one is Kelsey, the Chiefs said, dude, you got till mid-March as far as his bonus or whatever, some sort of money issue. Will Kelsey play next year? He basically has a month to decide. If not, they're moving on.
I could see Kelsey retiring.
I think Kelsey
it wasn't a good look in the Super Bowl. He did not play well. There's a lot of clips of him just getting fucking dogged in blocking and shit. Like, he was like slow off the line. I think he's moved on to his I think his Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson WWE days are over, and he's moved on to Kevin Hart movies. I think we've reached Travis Kelce, TV star, social media influencer type.
Okay.
He seems to have lost step. And listen, great career, but like, that's the thing with Tom Brady not retiring. He was just like, he couldn't give up the fucking, I want to go out there and just work to be a football player every day. Seems like Travis Kelce may have.
Yeah, I agree.
A year ago.
I agree.
And again, I think this was all part of lifelong Philadelphia Eagles fan Taylor Swift's plan to take down the Chiefs dynasty.
And on top
now
of
she'll
that,
break up with him and write a song about how he's a narcissist.
Yeah, we all know that's not going to end well. And on top of that, I saw he's played basically an extra year plus of football with all the playoff games. Like, it adds up to your body. It does. It adds up on your body. And I agree. I think he should retire. I think he will retire. Aaron Rodgers, I just don't know who he's playing for. I mean, who are his options? I told you that the weird Ram scenario. Are the Steelers going to do this same mistake where they grab an old QB? Did it with Russell Wilson?
I don't know.
I mean, I'll give the Steelers credit. Like, apparently Trevor Lawrence isn't, it's not an option, but I'll give him credit for trying that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, give us a call, 310-359-8365. That's the hotline. Let us know.
You can follow me on social media at Joe Prano, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Got some shows coming up. May or may not be joining Eddie Ift in Arizona at House Comedy this weekend. Stay tuned to my Instagram. I'll update you on that. If not, I've got some shows for LA Wildfire benefits, Westside Comedy Theater. I will be at Slow Comedy Festival at the end of the month, Ventiki later this week. So yeah, come out and see a show or just follow me on social media and keep listening to the Jay Moore podcast. Tuesday, we have Tuesday, Felipe Esparza. So funny. Great episode. You should check it out. And yeah, that's all I got. Oh, go to Big Duff's next time you're in South Lake Tahoe.
And you guys want to hear lots of stories about baby poop, the Andy Ruther show is where to go. Let me tell you. Never cared so much about poop until you have a kid, Prano. Your whole life.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Will be. It's not even about like the actual poop. It's like, did she poop today? Is she constipated? Like,
yeah,
it's your whole fucking life. It's all about poop. It's poop again.
You should start the poop app.
What's that?
I don't know, but like girls have it for their period. Like they know when it's coming. They don't know it's coming. You should do a thing. You should start a poop app that track like, yeah, the baby pooped today and it was solid and it was at this time. And then you could track it, see all your stats, plug it into your iPhone, your iWatch. I don't know.
I've said so many times on the Andy Ruther show that the money maker is in baby stuff.
Yeah. Poop app.
It is. The money maker. It's a pretty good idea, actually. All right, guys, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on Monday. And as always, stay dirty.